Good morning and welcome to the Shielded Prepper. 2 days in a row. Today is going to be a great day, and here's why. Yesterday we heard the interview that the Economic Ninja and I did end of January. And at that same time, Chris Taylor, the financial prepper, was with the Ninja at the VRIC conference in Vancouver and also had an opportunity to sit down and talk with Chris. Chris and I have different qualities. The Ninja and I have different qualities. All of us have strengths in different areas. And when we bring those together, many hands make light work. And these hands are here to serve you guys. So today you're going to hear from Chris Taylor and I in our conversation about being nutritionally focused and fitness focused, even in this time. And, you know, guys like me, a little husky, have to constantly be reminded. And if you're like me, put it in the comments below. We're going to be talking about preparedness in there, as well as helping you identify some of the things that may be making you sicker. So today, enjoy this. Again, sorry about the audio. I don't know what happened there. It was a first-time rookie mistake, let's say. And it's a great interview. Enjoy Chris. He's a wise man. He's soft-spoken. He's a Southern gentleman, and he has a lot of wisdom, and he shares some here. So enjoy today. Hope you guys are well, and I bless you in Jesus' name.
No matter what you say.
Hello and welcome to the Shielded Prepper. Today we're joined by Chris Taylor with the Financial Prepper. Chris, welcome.
Hey, brother.
Hey, man. Good to see you. Give me a high five. At the end, we've got to finish it your way.
All right.
Yeah, we know how it is. Chris, thank you for jumping on. It's been awesome and really a privilege and an honor to have the opportunity to connect with both you and the Economic Ninja. You guys have really been encouraging my heart in a lot of different ways. So here's the question I have for you. One, what I've found from your channel that's added value for me is not only your preparedness and some of the activities that you do on your property, rather who you are from a fitness-focused man that desires to have a healthy body, which creates a healthy mind and allows you to make healthy decisions for you and your family. A lot of us out here are starting to see not just inflation, rather massive inflation and massive costs, especially for folks like me that have a large family and sons that eat an excessive amount at 10 and 11 years old. Where have you found success with eating really great food, understanding prices have gone up, yet still ensuring that you're treating your body properly?
Okay, so it really starts with my wife. My wife was diagnosed with lupus about 7 or 8 years ago, and I was literally watching her die. It was everybody has those times in their life where, you know, everything's kind of really falling apart. And I was taking her to doctors and rushing her to the ER twice. You know, it was attacking her heart tissues, and it was like, wow. You know, when you arrive there, when you get there, when your number one person's dying and you don't know why, you'll just, you know, let's take care of it. Mm-hmm. The doctors could not come up with anything because they are practitioners. They are not healers. Mm-hmm. So, make sure that's on.
You're on.
So anyway, so I started with diet because when I looked into lupus, I kept hearing about diet. And I was like, okay, fine. I was overweight. My wife was not overweight, but it turns out she can't have seed oils. All of a sudden, a lot of people don't know this. So I went down the rabbit hole. I'm trying to streamline the story so it'll be quicker. But I went down the rabbit hole of fasting and diet, and my wife has absolutely zero symptoms. She's 100% healthy, and it is gone.
Talk to me about seed oils. Give me an example of seed oils for those of us that don't.
Okay, if it's a seed, sesame oil, sunflower oil, canola oil.
Palm?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, yeah, those are all seed oils. Now, when you buy one off the shelf, it's already going rancid. Seed oils start going rancid in about 3 months, usually.
So low shelf life.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And we weren't really supposed to eat seed oils. They were using it to lubricate machinery in in like the 20s. And they said, hey, we can hydrogenize this and we can feed it to humans. So they run it through a process and they start feeding it to humans. That's why my grandmother, she had these crazy knuckles with all this arthritis, and she was just crippled, debilitated because she ate prepackaged foods that were really popular in the 50s. After,
Well, that's when the mechanized food processing kind of came into play.
And the problem is they've been eating this stuff their whole life, and they don't think anything's wrong with it. Because I've been eating this my whole life. I used to tell her, grandmother, don't eat that bologna and just the worst possible foods you can put in your body is poisoning everybody. You're going to start seeing, mark my words, you're going to start seeing everybody with some type of autoimmune.
Mm-hmm.
And I can look at them because I know my wife and what she goes through. They'll have a little butterfly rash on their face. It's usually high in sugar. Their diet's high in sugar. They're eating a lot of boxed foods, processed foods, a lot of oils, and their body can't handle it. And they're dying a slow, miserable death that the doctors are absolutely bankrolling on.
Mm-hmm.
If you come to South Louisiana, that's what I'm going to talk about now, but it's the same in North Louisiana. The morbidly obese people is unreal. And I talked to a doctor there, or somebody that I knew was a doctor. He said, this is a cash cow. He said, there are so many sick people. Everybody's sick. And he said, so I'm not leaving. He said, I'd like to leave here and go somewhere else, somewhere nice. But I can't because, I make so much money taking care of all the morbidly obese people.
And it's really expensive. So let's correlate the two between the rise of good quality proteins and good quality vegetables and fruits and all these different things that we're paying for at the supermarket, yet where we start to cut our budget and remove those great foods in something that we're doing more. And obviously, just by looking at you, you can tell that nutrition is a focal part of your life. And for me, we were talking before we started filming that majority of my life was spent underneath a squat rack or Olympic lifts or running stadiums.
This guy is a beast.
A thrower for
a kilo.
Man, I tell you what, don't make me turn sideways. You might not see me.
Beast. You have a great bone structure. When the first time I saw you, I knew you were some kind of Olympic lifter. I knew you'd been.
Back in the day, this is what, I hit a husky stage in the second grade, never grew out of it, and it paid for a $100,000 education. And I'm really thankful for it.
That's cool.
Yet I find myself at 44 years old, my body feels different. My joints feel different. And on Christmas morning, I woke up and my knees were in so much pain and just inflammation. It was sugars, too much carbohydrates. And when you start to cut your family's budget in areas that you shouldn't, and start to increase the acquisition of lesser expensive foods that are not as healthy for you, where do you feel it in the back end? It's the medical costs, the things that you're looking to do. You may have to go to the hospital more often. Yet if we change the way we eat. What's the great philosopher? I can't even remember the name. He says, let food be your medicine and medicine be your food.
Somebody that said something smart.
Something smart. Yet it's true.
So, okay, it works so good for my wife. We did it on our dogs.
So what was it with your wife? So go into a little bit more detail of what specifically she focused on with you.
So we went sick she's ever been. I said, let's fast. Fast for one day. She's back.
Water only?
Water fast.
Okay.
24 hours, I feel better. Well, she would eat vegetables. She's fine. Eat some chicken. She's fine. Go to Chick-fil-A, sick for 24 hours. Sick as you've seen anybody. Fever, shaking, the whole thing. So take that out. Now we're back to chicken and vegetables. So it's an elimination diet. If you're having any of these issues, write them down. It helped to write down because people it's like recency biased, It's never been this way before, so it must not be.
Yeah.
So try to eliminate those foods, but so there's a lot of, this is a really long subject about all the different things that she can't have. But I'll tell you one more.
Well, keep it simple. Keep it to one thing that you choose to focus on.
The reason why I really know about seed oils and how they're affecting most people, she was doing fine, 100%. She was eating almonds, right? Everybody can have almonds, unless you have some kind of nut allergy.
Yeah.
She didn't have nut allergy. They were roasting the almonds, the crispy and good ones. They're roasting them in sunflower oil, safflower oil, and some other kind of oil, I can't remember. And she was sick as a dog. I was like, what are you eating? Oh, nothing. I said, no, you're eating something. I already know this. Been down this road. So we hunted that down. So there could be one thing people are eating that's causing all these symptoms. Then they're going to the doctor and they're getting this medicine that's hurting their kidneys. That she was told, look, this is going to attack all this stuff. You're going to lose your eyesight. Your teeth are going to fall out. She was losing her hair. This was a really, really big deal.
Wow. So it was severe. And she's still a relatively young woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so to be having these in her 30s, Did this just flare up? Was this a new thing, or has she been struggling with some of these things for a lot of years?
It started coming on, and then it got faster and faster. It was kind of like 90% of the moves in the last 10% of the time situation. It seems like that's with everything. But let me go back a little bit, and because, we prepare just for whatever. I say the Thunderdome a lot in my videos. But as people are prepping, and preppers are the worst about this, when you need to eat, it doesn't matter what you got to eat. But you can also prep good food.
That's right.
You can prep vegetables.
You've recently made an investment on how to prepare good food. You've had a couple of great videos about your freeze dryer that you purchased from Harvest Right.
Yeah.
Putting it together, awesome cart you made. Yeah. Tell me about the Harvest Right food. May I ask a question on that? What was the one reason why you chose to purchase that?
It's a way for me to preserve food for meat mainly.
Meat.
It'll keep meat for 3.5 years or so. That's what they say. You can probably get more out of it.
Well, I guess the lower the fat, the fat ends up going rancid.
I'm not a professional at it.
Yeah.
What really did it for me was I can like my high protein pot pie that I make that I eat all the time.
Yeah. Fill up your pan.
It's everything I need.
It's delicious.
It's great. It really is awesome. We eat it all the time. I can freeze dry that. I can put it in the little Mylar bags, and I can go elk hunting, fishing on these trips. Because when we go on these trips, my diet really falls off.
Yeah.
And I don't feel as good, and those habits are really hard for me to break when I get back home. So I can bring all my good food with me. When we go anywhere with our dogs, the dogs can eat it. It's something safe for my wife to eat. My wife cannot eat at many places because it'll ruin her trip. She eats, a certain thing that her body reacts to. So that was the first thing. Now, there's a lot of people that try to they actually they talk about return on investment, ROI, on this freeze dryer because they're expensive. That's like $3,000.
Yeah, $3,000 to $5,000 depending on the setup you get.
Right, so it's a big investment, and you do need to use it, and that's why I made the cart, made it easy to use. Because if it's not easy to use, then nobody uses it, right?
Fair.
We got a big food processor with all these gizmos, and we don't ever use it because it's just hard to get to. It's just easy to chop something up.
Yeah.
So, the freeze dryer thing is.
So in all of this to say, when Chris and I were talking about what we intended on sharing, it came really down to how can we make moves, understanding that the cost of nutritious food is increasing, and it's not going to decrease. It's going to continue to increase. We're talking about, a big hot button is the cost of eggs. Producing your own food is a big cost savings, yet also what you're feeding your food or your chickens that are producing what you're doing there. I know for me in my house, we have started intermittent fasting. Not just to save money because you're taking out basically a meal or sometimes two a day, rather to allow our bodies to get through what we are putting in it so that we feel better. And I immediately, as difficult as it was mentally, once I got over that hurdle, I immediately started to feel better. And we started cutting out certain foods, sugar being one of them. That was the watershed moment for me. I love sugar. I love things that are sweet. You don't build a handsome body like this without a little sugar. Yet, that being said, it was crushing my body. It was hurting me. I didn't sleep well. I was waking up many times throughout the night. My joints hurt. And just cutting it out over a couple-week period, it was like my body feels totally different. I'm sleeping better. I'm less hungry, which means I'm consuming less. So for where we are right now, choosing to find new and innovative ways to reduce the amount of food that we're eating, yet increase the quality, is going to be very important as we enter the Thunderdome.
Absolutely. Now, there's a little tip that I'd like to share with you about sugar. And I've tried I got a blood sugar monitor, and when I got in shape, when I do something, it's all in, for better or for worse. So I got my blood sugar monitor, and I was watching sugar and trying to figure out all these things that were making blood sugar spike, and of course, sugar was one of them. And I was having these insane sugar cravings. Your body loves sugar. It's like energy. Your body wants it, Gymnema. You ever heard of Gymnema?
Mm-mm.
Okay, Google Gymnema. If it's cheap, it's some kind of tree in India. It tastes like crap. I mean, literally, it is awful. But it will knock the sugar cravings out. It makes sugar. It kind of makes that craving go away, and it really did work. But it tastes so bad, it's hard for me to recommend it. But if you're sure enough it'll help you get over that hump. It's cheap. Maybe give it a shot because sugar's a positive feedback system.
Yeah. Oh, it's wonderful. And that's, part of the way I manage it personally. I don't know, maybe you can share about yourself. I have to go to bed earlier. If I stay up late after my last meal, it's like that sugar craving comes on for me before I go to bed. So I have to look to be intentional about getting my butt to bed at a proper time and ensuring, one, you're having enough sleep.
Brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth. Clean your teeth up.
No,
I feel like brushing my teeth right now because I've been drinking coffee. I'm standing super close to you. I'm like, man, I wonder if I smell like coffee.
Sometimes if I'm starting to get that, I want to munch on something, I'll just go brush my teeth. There's little tricks. Look.
Drink a glass of water.
All you got to do is eat 200 calories less than your body needs.
Yeah.
That's it. You lose weight for that day. It's one day at a time. People want to make these life commitments to eat one time a day or something. That's going to be really hard to stick to.
Yeah.
I mean, all diets work. The one that works best is the one you can stick to.
That's right. So let's ensure that as we kind of wrap this up, for those of you that are experiencing these higher food costs and you're looking for new and creative ways to reduce your overall velocity of spend, look for opportunities to change things and to test things and look where you can alleviate pain through your food that you're eating, not through as much ibuprofen and Tylenol. Those do have a place, or as much alcohol as you're drinking. Look for these now. Allow your bodies to feel the shift now. In the future, it may have to happen whether you choose to or not. So be encouraged today. Chris,
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Great
Financial Prepper. Have an awesome
day.
That's right.
Later, guys.